Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Savings Minus Debt. I'm your host, LJ Young. Give everybody a few minutes to get in here so we can get started. Explain Q&A Sundays and the purpose of them, the purpose of today. What's up, Aaron? What's up, Dennis? Beautiful, sunny, cold day here in South Carolina, but it's still beautiful. I love the sun. That's why I moved from Seattle, because I love the sun. I was born and raised in Seattle, didn't leave till age 49. Don't get me wrong, I traveled, but lived any other state? No, never lived in any other state except now. And so crazy when I think about it, the real reason why I didn't leave the state I lived is because I was in debt, and that was all I've known. Like, I was just scared I was like, man, what if I go to a place where I don't have family and friends, and what if I don't have enough money to I won't have anybody to fall back on. Then I thought about it. I'm like, have I ever had to fall back on anybody since I was living in Seattle? No. I was just afraid to move because I was in debt. I was like, man, if I don't have a college degree, I might go to another state and not get a good enough paying job. All that all that stupid nonsense, man. It was all because I was in debt. What's up, reigning woman? Yeah, I've been seeing your comments, Raining. You've been following close. I like that. That's pretty cool. Welcome if you're new. We're going to get started in about 30 seconds. And I'll explain Q&A Sundays, how long we're going to go, et cetera, et cetera. And as we're waiting, I'm going to be just chatting about things and waiting for questions to come up. Also, you can join the show. Ask me any question you wish. Personal finances only. What's up, Jewel? Hello. All right. My name is LJ Young, and I'm a 100% debt-free motivational speaker and personal finance educator. I help people become financially free by helping them mathematically see outside what I call the debt matrix. And the debt matrix is a place where everybody lives that believes in credit and debt, financing everything that goes down in value, and so on and so forth. Well, the people that live in the debt matrix are slaves, and there's two kinds of slaves. There's unconscious slaves and conscious slaves. Okay, and here's the difference between the two. Unconscious slaves don't trust math, and they don't know they don't trust math. All right, here's an example. Believing that they are homeowners with 30-year mortgages. Okay. And all they would have to do is open the calculator app on their phone, put in their mortgage payment minus their mortgage balance, and hit equal. And they will clearly see this is all they have to do is believe the math that calculator shows them. But since they don't believe it, hence they are unconscious slaves. They don't trust math. Okay. All right. And they believe they're homeowners. Anyway, conscious slaves were once unconscious, found the SMD channel, became conscious. Now, when I say conscious, now they are conscious that they are a slave. Okay. They're conscious of it. Unconscious slaves don't trust math, so they don't know they're a slave. But when you become conscious by believing math, they added up all their savings, put in all their savings, opened up a calculator. This is what they did to become conscious. They opened up the calculator app on their phone, put in their savings minus the total debt, student loans, mortgages, car payments, all that stuff. They added it all up, and then savings minus debt, and hit equal. Once they saw that large negative number, they looked at it and said, oh, that's below zero, right? Yeah, that's below zero. That means I'm a slave, right? That means you're a slave. And then they woke up and said, oh, crap, I don't want to be a slave anymore. Now they're doing whatever it takes to get out of the debt matrix. Okay. And what it really is, so you guys can understand what unconscious slaves can't see negative numbers. All right. They don't know they exist. I mean, they know they exist, but they can't see them for some reason. They don't see zero or -1, -2. They don't see that. So here, I'm gonna give you an example so you guys can go out there and see unconscious slaves. You walk up to someone and say, anybody you know, it really doesn't matter because they're everywhere. You say, hey, what's 5 minus 10? The answer is -5. But see how many people you know will answer 5. If they answer 5, that means they are unconscious slaves. That's what I mean. And conscious slaves, now they realize they're slaves. Now they're doing whatever it takes to get out of debt. They no longer listen to unconscious slave chitter chatter about retirement accounts, investing, stock market. Slaves have absolutely no unconscious slaves have absolutely no idea. Everything they say, it makes no mathematical sense. They don't know that. Okay. So what I do, I lived there for until age 40, until I woke up, found um I'll go through the story. I always tell the story about how I woke up, but not right now. I woke up, found Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey said, hey, take the math that you learned in elementary school, apply it to your finances, and you'll win with money. I said, cool. All right. I did it, once I got to zero and I became free, that's when I realized I was a slave once I became free. All right. I mean, even though I was getting out of, you got to remember, I'm just telling you ahead of time. When I was getting out of debt, I still didn't realize I was a slave. I was just getting out of debt because I just didn't want to be in debt. Once I reached zero, I then and only then I realized I was a slave because I had never been free before. I had always been in debt. So now that I'm free. So now I came out of the debt matrix with using Dave Ramsey's principles. So I took what he taught me and then I broke it down even further because I want you guys to understand it's just about mathematics. Always remember this statement. If it doesn't make mathematical sense, it cannot, I repeat, it cannot make financial sense. CENTS. It cannot. Okay. So so what I did was stripped out religion because religion has nothing to do with mathematics, nothing. Sometimes Dave will say, hey, once you get down to your mortgage, start putting away 15% towards retirement, right? According to the laws of mathematics, if you have a mortgage, you can't put 15% of anything away for anything because you don't have 15%. You are still in the negative with a mortgage. Don't misunderstand that. Never, ever, ever break the laws of mathematics when it comes to your money, ever, and you'll be rich as you want to be. All right. So this is what I do. So what I do is help people in many different fashions. I give people that are in debt, they don't know they're slave. They want a fast track, a blueprint on how to get out. I create that for them. I say, hey, forget everybody else. Here's the blueprint right here. And I justify with mathematics. So when I give the person's financial blueprint to them, it's not just because I'm smarter than them or I'm telling you what to do, or you best do what I do because you paid me. No, you will see the math and the math will make sense. And if the math makes sense, that means I'm right. That's how it works. One second, I'm gonna get some water. And then once they understand that, and then once you get to zero, there's few services that I offer once you get to zero, because once you get here to zero, you're gonna be like a newborn baby. Okay, it's gonna be hardly anybody to talk about finances the way you need them to talk about finances. And when I say need to talk about finances, things that make mathematical sense. Okay, there's not going to be many people you can talk to about that. So I have a service that people can talk to me about. Hey, ask me questions from a debt-free perspective of what you should do, right? Also, let me give another example. Say, for example, you are a business tax business tax professional, okay? But you are personally deep in debt. I can help you. Probably one of the most, you are like the ideal candidate for me, because there are certain things that slaves that are people in your business that are in debt just like you guys can't see something. I promise you there's something you can't see. You come to me, you will be the best business tax preparer in the United States of America. One of the best, not the best, but one of the best. There will be no competition for you, none, because you will be able to see something for your clients. And I guarantee you, once you understand this knowledge and you get clients, they will be your clients for life, because they will know there will be nobody else to go to that will be like you. Shout out to Simple Logic for the $5 super chat. I'm thinking about buying FNGD and selling it when the next market correction comes. Your thoughts? I don't know what that is. And I don't really talk about investing. I just talk about you. All right. First, Simple Logic, are you in debt? That's my first question. Uh, so anyway, so that's what I do. I give the blueprint so you guys can understand from a mathematical only perspective, period. Doesn't matter, because I've heard people say, hey, should I tithe while I'm trying to get out of debt? According to the laws of mathematics, you have no money to tithe to anybody or anything. That's what, according to the laws of mathematics. But if you believe you do, you're breaking the laws of mathematics. Now, I'm not saying once you get out of debt, tithe all you want. I'm just saying tithe with real money, not pretend money, not money that doesn't exist. Okay. There is, let me put it this way, okay? Because I hate it when people split up, like you should put away retirement and then don't pay off your house. Let me tell you something real quick so you can understand it. I'm gonna say it very simply so you can really get it. There is no better investment than a paid off house. There is no better investment. If you just remember, you cannot put away a money for retirement while you have a mortgage. That is 100% mathematically impossible. You cannot. So what does that leave by default? That leaves to tell you that a paid off house is the best investment you could ever make. And here's why, so you can understand. If you pay your house off, you will never ever have rent and or mortgage again for the rest of your life. What stock do you see in the stock market that's going to pay you back like that? That you don't have rent? What do you think you could do with no rent or mortgage for the rest of your life? You know how much money you would have, especially if you were debt. First of all, to reach that goal, you will have to be debt free to have a paid off house. Let's just make sure that that goes hand in hand. So by the time you have a paid off house, you will be debt free. If you're debt free with a paid off house, there is no investment on earth that is a better investment than that. Shout out to Top Shelf, Bitcrumb, the Bitcrumb Fund. Thank you, sir. I know Bitcrumbs. I'm gonna do the hashtag, but the hashtag wouldn't go anywhere because slaves don't know what that even means. Then it says, LJ, a guy at my job was trying to give me advice on how he bought his house with an with an FHA, so he can rent. Oh man, they fall for that for hook, line, and sinker. Hey, get an FHA mortgage, rent it out, and then the renter will be paying your mortgage. They fall for that stupid shit all the time. Rent it. I asked, do you have student loans? He said, yes, 6,000. I said, sorry, I can't listen to you then. You know, this is what slaves don't really understand, unconscious slaves. The reason why the banks offer you FHA mortgages is because you have student loans. You don't know that it is 100% impossible to buy a home if you have student loans. Okay. You don't know that. The bank does. And the bank also knows that if you haven't paid off your student loans in 20 years, they know you're not going to pay off a house in 30. That's why they offer you a subprime mortgage. You're an unconscious slave that doesn't trust mathematics and can't see negative numbers. Here, let me give you guys another, especially unconscious slaves. I want you guys to see something, okay? Your gross income is that money on your check, that you wish you brought home before they took taxes out. That's called gross. You look at your checking like, damn, man, look how much money I would be taking home if they didn't take out any taxes. That's called gross, okay? When you go, oh man, okay. So when you go, say like you're going to buy a house, okay? Let's go a car so you guys don't think so big. Go buy a car, right? They go by your gross income, money that you're not even going to get. You never stop to think, well, why are you going by my gross income? I don't even get that money. I know, but you're the only one that don't know that. You already know that when you get your check. Do you get that whole amount of money on your check? No. Then why are they going by your gross income? Doesn't make any sense, does it? Because it's business. You guys don't know they're starting you upside down already. And you know why you don't know? Because you're financing something that goes down in value in the first fucking place. Do you get it? That's financial suicide to finance a car. I want you guys to understand that. When you tell somebody that you're making car payments, you're telling people that know that you are committing financial suicide on purpose for 84 months. You get it? They starting you on, you're not getting a deal. At whatever the sale price you see on a car, if you're financing it for 84 months, the sale price means absolutely nothing to you. That's an illusion. The price of that car you see are for cash buyers only, not you. You guys don't even know, like, if you don't have the money, listen, you go by your gross payment, you go by your gross income, right? You're already underwater and you haven't even signed papers yet. That's what interest rate, and if you're financing a car, which is already bad, that means you don't have the money for the car. That's why you're financing it. And if you don't have the money for the car, you don't have the money for the taxes. So guess what else you're financing? Slaves? You're financing taxes too. And then right on top, they put a bow. That's called your interest rate. Your gross income, money that you're not going to get. You're financing taxes. You're you're buying the car because remember, you're whatever that sale price is that you see, that's including their profit. You think they're going to sell you a car and not make any money? So that's a markup. So whatever the price you see is not the value of the car. That's not, so you're paying a price. And and listen closely. That's the value of that car today. That car will never ever be that value again, ever. It's going to go down from today, the day you finance that car, but you're financing it for 84 months. So the car is going down at the same time it's going up. Those two arrows going in opposite direction creates what's called a gap. This is where they introduce gap insurance for you slaves. Gap insurance is only for slaves, okay? That's on top of your regular insurance because you guys don't know. I'm getting on the mic with you soon. Oh, yeah, that's right. Let me put this. Today is for you guys, and I'm yip yapping. Let me put this. Let me put this link in here. This is for you guys today, okay? This is for you guys to ask me questions. I really want to help you guys be free, man. That's really what it really is. I, I don't like. I don't. You know what? It's like I don't like seeing slaves be slaves. I really don't. It's bad. It's unfortunate. It's like millions of slaves believe they're homeowners. That's crazy, man. That is absolutely bananas. With 30-year mortgages. It don't take 30 years to pay off your house, slaves. Who told, listen, slaves, who told you it take 30 years to pay off one house? 30 years of your life? Here, I'm going to give you the formula on the fastest way to pay off your house, okay? Now, it's here at SMD, I simplify it. Everything is simplified, okay? Take the price of the house divided by your annual income will equal how the years to pay off the house. Divide it up. The price of the house, so say like you see a house by 300,000, that's $300,000. Divide that by what did I say, 12 yearly? Divide it by your annual pay. Your total annual pay equals the years to pay off the house. That's how you do it. It's that simple. Fancy says a lot of people say that you're a second class citizen if you don't deal with credit. No, only slaves say that. Anybody you catch worshiping credit, Those are slaves. Those are slaves. And one thing I realized too, which I'm gonna start doing, so you guys know, I'm gonna start whiteboarding because I realized something, and I've been saying it for quite a while. Slaves cannot see negative numbers. They can't see zero. They can't see -1, -2, -3. No wonder they're not able to hear the words when I talk about it on the mic. They don't know what I'm saying. I already know, Slate, you guys can't see negative numbers. So if I'm talking about it, of course you don't understand what I'm talking about because you can't see it. So when I write it down on a board, a whiteboard, so you guys can see it, it's probably gonna make the connection. You're gonna be like, wait a minute, he's right. Well, then why do I, if I this is what you're gonna think. If I write it down on a whiteboard, put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance and hit equal, that's going to be a large negative number. If you actually see the number, and you're going to say to yourself, because you won't be able to help but say to yourself, yeah, that's a large negative number. Why do I believe I'm a homeowner? Exactly. That's the point. That's what, because you're unconscious. That's why you believe that. That's why when you hear all these people say they're homeowners, they own multiple homes, all you got to ask them is say, do you got mortgages on those homes? Yeah. Who cares what they think? The bank doesn't care. Listen, the bank doesn't care what people call themselves on their own property, what property that they own. As long as they're making the mortgage payments, they don't care what unconscious slaves call themselves: homeowners, property owners, making rent, my renter's paying my mortgage, I'm getting a profit, and what I'm writing off the interest on taxes. Right now they're so happy to write off something that they don't even have to have in the first place. You don't have to have interest on a house to write off, but they're happy about it. Rainy woman says, LJ, do you know today is Saturday? Is today Saturday? Oh, oh god damn. I did not. Now I gotta edit my video. I thought it was Sunday. I don't know, why did I think today was Saturday? Oh, that's why. God dog it. All right, I'll fix it. See, let me tell you something. Okay, when you get out of the debt matrix, I swear to God, I tell you, you never know what day it is. You don't. You don't even know what day it is. I don't know what time it is. I don't ever know what day it is unless I have an appointment. Now, to the person that's in the debt matrix, they would find that mind blowing, right? They would be like, wow, man, you don't even know. Well, once you get out of debt matrix, you understand even time is a tool. You don't need time, right? You don't, I'm talking about the man made time. You don't need a clock. You don't always have to know what time it is. That's the only reason why. If you're a person that's always looking at the time and the date, is because it owns you. That's why you always know. Time owns you. If you're looking at it's 1:30, it's 1:45, it's 2 o'clock. That means because time owns you. When time doesn't own you and you treat it as the tool that it is, you never know what time it is. It's crazy. I promise you that. I promise you that. When I was a kid, my aunt and uncle had to move out of their house because their mortgage got raised too much. I thought, can the bank even do that? Somebody should have given them a calculator. Yeah, of course the bank could do that. It's their house. Okay, you guys got to listen. When you okay, man, they do you slaves so dirty. God, they do you guys so dirty. If you go get a mortgage without a lawyer, you're a slave. You're an unconscious slave. If you go get a mortgage without a lawyer, when they set that stack of paperwork in front of you to sign here, initial here, sign here, initial here, sign here, initial. Do you know what you're signing? Do you know anything about that convoluted contract that they put in front of you, that they can put anything they wish in there because it's their money? Sign here, initial here, sign here, initial. What do you mean sign here, initial? I got to have my lawyer look over this stuff. This is business, because you better believe the bank selling you that house, if financing that house for you, is business. They're not selling you anything. They're financing it for you. That's business. This is nothing personal. There is no rush. Hey, if somebody tries to rush you, hey man, this house might not be around. I don't care. They're everywhere. Houses are everywhere. Okay, don't worry about missing one. You'll find another one. I promise you. I mean, we can still do this. I was looking like how long did I sleep? No, we're still gonna do it. I'm gonna just change the title after we get off. That's all. I'll just change the title. But anyway, it's still yeah. I mean, it's you guys want to stop that nonsense? You want to get out? You want to stop being used? Do you want that to stop? Because I promise you, they're financially abusing you, man. You know, okay, I got to say that too. You're financially abusing yourself by not trusting math. If you knew what financing cars do to your finances, oh man, if you knew, oh my God. The prices of these cars are killing you. You think listen, when you go buy a car, say like a car, say like a car is 40,000. Do you think they produce hundreds of thousands of these cars, okay? You think each one costs $40,000? No, far from it. Now you're probably thinking, what are you talking about? No, that's not true, blah, blah, blah. You're probably thinking that, right? So this is what I want you to do, because for those people that think like that, okay, here at the SMD channel, I prove to you something. So by giving you provable examples, all right? This is what I want you to do so you don't think I'm tricking you or something, right? Pull out $100 bill if you have one. Pull out $100 bill. If you don't, just imagine one, because money's all money's imaginary for you, slave. Money doesn't exist for you. You guys don't even know that. So it doesn't matter if you have one or not. Just pull it out. But it's better if you physically have one. Okay. Then I want you to go to type in Google, say, how much does it cost to make $100 bill? All right. And then I want you to click on the government website that it brings you up. It's going to say, hey, this is how much we make money for. And then I want you to go see how much they make $100 bill for. They make it for 14 cents. Last year, it was 19.6 cents. This year, it's 14 cents. Now, here's the glitch in the debt matrix, because you're not going to make the connection. If you make it for 14 cents, how come I believe it's worth 100? I don't know, slave. I guess you just do whatever. My example is this: if they can make $100 bill for 14 cents and make you believe it's 100, what do you think they can do with cars? It don't cost $40,000 to make one car. It doesn't. And then on top of that, without you guys knowing, you go finance it, you put in your gross income, money that you're not going to get, and then you finance something that goes down. And oh man, you guys are just so buried. You guys are buried. That doesn't even include extended warranties, gap insurance. Oh man, you'll never get out. They are financially abusing you. Yet you can never figure out, why am I living paycheck to paycheck? How come I can't get ahead? I get 2, 3 jobs, I'm still behind. I get raises, I'm still behind. I go to college and get a higher education, and I'm still behind, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the amount of money you make, slave. It doesn't matter. You don't trust mathematics. That's what it is. Should I buy another car for extra transportation for back? Should I buy another car for extra transportation for a backup? No, I wouldn't. No, don't worry about no. If you're out of debt and your car breaks down, you put it in the shop and get it fixed. That's all you gotta do. And if it's gonna be down for a few days, just go rent a car. It'll be cheaper to go rent a car for a week than buy another car. You just, because when you have money and your car break down, you find a reputable shop, because usually the reputable shops, they cost a little extra money because they built their reputation on that. You bring your car here, it will get fixed right. That's all I care about. Because time becomes the most valuable thing on earth. when you get out of the debt matrix. Time is. And then you also realize that they make $100 bills for 14 cents. That's one thing that'll stick in your brain forever. It will never change. $100 bills are made for 14 cents. So if I'm going to a reputable shop and they fix my car the right way every single time and it costs a little extra money, I'm paying them because they're saving me time from coming back. Hey, this ain't done right. What'd you do wrong? Blah, blah, blah. No, I ain't doing none of that. Now, you want to be free, man? Right there. Consultation. Maybe you just want to talk to me. Maybe I can just tell you during that consultation what you need to do. But if you're lost, like most people are, they're not going to tell you. Slaves are not unconscious slaves are not going to tell you that they're deep in trouble, deep in debt. But I guarantee you this: the majority are just like you. They don't have a clue of how much debt they're in, nor are they're terrified to even know. And that's where they want slaves, paralyzed in debt fear. Paralyzed. That's what. If you don't want to know, you don't know how much your student loan debt is total. You don't know where it's at. You don't know who owns it. You don't really care. You start believing that as long as you make your student loan payments on time, it's good for your credit score. They have you, slave. Student loan forgiveness programs, they tell you right to your motherfucking face, we deny 99% of them. Wait a minute. You sign up for a 10-year program, you get all the way to the 10. Now, it goes to 10 to 25 years, by the way. But say like you sign up for the 10-year program, you get to your 10th year following every motherfucking rule, and did they deny you? They do it right in your face, slap you right in your face, kick you in your nuts. And you fall to your knees, you look up at them, say, "Can I sign right back up?" "Sure, slave, get up." Get up and beg. And you guys do it. And you sign right back up. Why you do that? Because you're slaves. Imagine being in chains, laying on the ground. They're just kicking on you, spitting on you. And they're like, "Hey, you want to sign back up for this program?" You say, "Yes, I want some more." And you sign right back up. "Oh, yeah, by the way, we don't promise you nothing at the end. We don't even promise that we're going to forgive you, okay? We don't." You got to say, "Okay." And then they tell you right in an announcement, 99% got denied. 99%. Mm, mm, mm. So if your student loans are older than your car, you're begging for it. You're a complete slave. You're asking to be a slave. If your student loans are older than your mortgage, than your subprime FHA mortgage, especially you guys, subprime FHA mortgage, you are a slave and you are begging for it. Student loans older than your subprime mortgage, FHA mortgage, and you're in a student loan forgiveness program where they tell you everything to do. You got to work here. You only can make this much. You got to do what we say the whole 10 years. You got to tell us this how much money got to come. Oh my God. For 10 years? Financial prison for 10 years, and we promise you nothing. Then the president says, "Hey, yeah, we if you if you pay your what do you say? For if your student loans are forgiven, we won't put tax on it. You want to pay tax on it." How many people you think are going to actually do that? Going to be able to do that? If only 1% of the people, 99% of people getting denied, right? And 1% get passed or got through. Who cares if the taxes, if 99% of people are getting denied, who cares if they're taking tax, they're not going to apply tax on that. It doesn't even make any sense. They do you slaves so dirty. It just sounds good. Oh, wow, that's nice. But yeah, 99% got denied. So what does that do? Nothing. They're not releasing you slaves. Student loans are how they create slaves. You think they're going to create you and then release you? Come on, man. Stop it. You got to stop. You got to stop that nonsense. You have to stop. They offer slaves FHA mortgages because you have student loans. If you walk in the bank and got student loans older than your children, they're giving you a subprime mortgage slave because you don't know. You don't go to college for 4 years and keep your student loans for 20, 25. That's why I always tell these young 18-year-olds that's getting pressure to go to college. This is this is all you kids have to do. All you got to do is turn and ask your respectfully, of course, turn and ask your parents and say, "Hey, mom, dad, yeah, do you still have your student loans?" And if they say yes, you got to say just like this. Wait a minute. Your student loans are older than me? They're going to have to say, "Well, yeah." Then you say just like this. "Well, how long did you go to college?" They're going to turn to you and say, most likely they're going to say, "4 years." Then you got to say that to yourself. That doesn't make financial sense. No, it doesn't. That does something's wrong, right? That's right. Something's wrong. That doesn't make mathematical sense. Because you're gonna take another step back. You're gonna say, how do we live in this house? How does mom and dad have those nice cars? How did we go on all those vacations? That's all in it. That's all a mathematical illusion. You can't. You can't buy a house. You can never own a house. If you have student loans, you cannot own a house. That's impossible. If you have student loans, you cannot own cars. If you have student loans, you cannot go on vacation. You can't. That's impossible. According to the laws of mathematics, that's impossible. Dennis says, you probably explained this before, but was it a bad, was it so bad about, oh, what is so bad about FHA? What if you put a lot down, still a loan on? And that's a good question. Okay, Dennis, I see you're saying this, and I'm gonna simplify this. Okay. Look up, let's see the best way I can explain it. Find out what is the best mortgage in the United States of America. Okay. Whatever that is, find out what it is. Look up the 5 top banks in the United States of America. Google the 5 top banks. Then I want you to go to each of those banks' website and look for under mortgages and look for the absolute best one they offer. Okay, each of the banks, go to each one of them, and then I want you to compare that top mortgage. Find a house range that you're looking for. Say like it's 300,000. You go to the top 5 banks, Google them, put in 300,000. They might have a calculator. Pick the top mortgage that they offer, run the numbers in that calculator, and then I want you to take those same numbers and then run those numbers against a FHA mortgage calculator, and then I want you to see with your own eyes why FHA mortgages are bad. Okay, that's what I want you to do, because that is a good question. You guys need to see the numbers, and then you got to ask yourself, if you go into a bank and they offer you a FHA mortgage, this is what I want you to ask them. Just like this, is that the best mortgage in the United States of America? Now they're going to look shocked. They're going to look shocked that you asked them a question like that, because if you're in there getting ready to sign FHA paperwork, they know you know not to you don't even know to ask that type of question. They know you don't know because you're crossing your fingers. The only thing you're hoping for is to get that FHA mortgage so you think you can become a homeowner. So you think you will become a homeowner, which is a lie. That's not true. No mortgage in the United States of no mortgage in the United States of America makes you a homeowner. The only way you can be a homeowner is if you buy it with your own money. That's the only way. There is no other way. Anything outside of that is called financing. So if you have to finance it, you better be financing with just the best mortgage in the United States of America, whatever that is. So great question, Dennis. You can't explain it without going into detail, but banks set up FHA for home triers. Home triers to fail. That is true. That is true. If they sign you up for an FHA mortgage, listen, they know you don't know. Because if you did, you wouldn't. Do you guys know? Even put it this way so you guys can really get it. A mortgage, even the best one in the United States of America, terrifies me. It terrifies me to know that I would owe the bank that much money. That just terrifies me. That absolutely terrifies me to even think about me owing the bank that much money for that long. That just terrifies me. I don't care if it's 15 years. 10 years even scares me. 10 years? That's a long time. Only unconscious slaves think they should have a second car for backup, but buy another car just because you can and you want to. Exactly. They do that. Because you got to remember when you buy another car, that's registration fees, insurance. It's not just a car. It's the whole, it's a, man, it's crazy. I like that. Home triers. I like that. If you need a second vehicle for backup, that means the first vehicle must suck or not be suitable for the job. Only one vehicle is necessary. Nothing wrong with using work vehicle as personal vehicle. Yep. Yeah, if you guys got some questions, man, especially you guys in the background, you guys can ask, okay? This is the time you can get the answers for free. Scant dollar and everyone pressuring me to get a house. Right now, if I tell you what, okay, so you can know. Right now, if anybody's pressuring you get a house, most likely it's going to be slaves, okay? And anybody pressuring you to get a house, this is what I want you to ask them. Two questions. Do you have student loans? Are you making car payments? If they answer yes to either one of those questions, don't listen to them. They have no idea what they're talking about. None, zero. Okay. If anybody's pressuring you to to invest in Bitcoin, this is what I want you to turn to them and say: do you have a whole Bitcoin or do you have a piece of a Bitcoin? If they say a piece, that's called a Bitcoin crumb. Okay. Only slaves get the crumbs. Slaves get the crumbs. You only listen to somebody that has whole Bitcoins. Okay. Because I'm not saying Bitcoin is bad. I'm saying if you understand money, Bitcoin is very good because you'll know when to put your money in and you'll know exactly when to take it out. Okay. Slaves don't know. They just see a lot of money they put in. They don't know. They're going to hope and dream just like they do the lotto. It's going to keep going up. I'm not going to pull my money out. But people that understand know exactly when to pull the money out. Slaves don't. So don't do it. Yisa, I hope I said that right. Hey SMD, I'm want to get my credit score in 800. Is it a good idea to lease a car to help my credit? Uh, no. Here at SMD, we don't finance cars. Credit is a tool. You don't need it. Okay, you don't need credit. Credit's a tool. Don't worry about building it up. When you have money, you won't worry about credit. Like say for example, let me give an example. Say like there was a car that you wanted for $30,000, okay? And you had $100,000 in the bank cash. Would you finance that car or would you just buy it? You're just like, I don't feel like waiting off all that paperwork, sitting here all day for 8 hours to finance a car. Now I'll just buy it and leave and be out of there in 30 minutes. Okay, so here you don't worry about your credit. You just get out of debt. You got to be out of debt. Because here I want you to understand what credit reports are. You're not going to hear this anywhere else on YouTube. Okay. A credit report is a owner's ledger. It's nothing special. It's just an owner's ledger. So when you log in, say, for example, your Credit Karma, when you log in there, it tells you everything about you. First, when you log in, you're going to see this large number that pops up. Put a negative in front of it. That is your net worth. That's how much you're worth today. Okay. All right. Let's go deeper into your credit report. Go in there and look at all the businesses. All those businesses own you. They all own a piece of you. You are their stock. And that number you first pop in, that's the money that you owe them. As long as you keep paying their money back on time, monthly, They reward you with a score for staying in debt. They say, hey, thanks for staying in debt. We'll get you higher score so you can get deeper in debt. So the higher your score, the deeper you will go in debt because you'll be approved for more loans. Yeah, that's how it works. Until one day they're going to stop. One day they're going to stop loaning you money. You're going to say, wait a minute. I have a great credit score. I got all this time on the job. I've made all my payments on time. I've never missed a payment. But this time you tell me no, they're going to be like, nope, sorry. Then you're going to be like, they're going to tell you, oh, it's DTI, debt to income ratio. Then you're going to be like, what's that? That means you're done. That's what that means. That means you make a little bit of money and you're in a Mount Everest of debt. That's what that means. But you don't know that. So try to break the program of credit. Credit is a program. Credit is a business. That's it. You don't have to play. You can get a credit score higher than 800 without leasing a car or having any debt. Ask me how to do this. Exactly. You can do all that. Hyphy uses it as a tool. And that is true. Mine's in the 700s. I don't ever look at it unless somebody asks me what it is, but it's 700 something. Stanton says, what about if you're a person who have no credit though, what do that person need to do to get ahead? Okay, I'm gonna reiterate. You don't need credit to get ahead on anything. You need money. Cash gets you ahead. Cash will buy you. You don't need, put it this way, okay? Say like you want a newer car. Say like the car is $40,000, okay? The price of the value of the car is $40,000, what you want, okay? Let me say, how can I say this easily? You let the slaves go and finance the car off the lot first so they can take the hit. Because first of all, the car is not worth $40,000. They don't make that. That's not true. They don't make them for that's not true, right? You let the slaves finance and take the hit. Once they're in it, maybe a year or two, they'll start to realize they're in over their head. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to sell it for half price in cash. If you have the cash, you're like, hey man, I know the value of the car is this, but I have this. They're going to take the cash and they're going to sell it to you because they're slaves. They go through their head, oh man, I really didn't pay that much because I financed it. I used the bank's money, blah, blah, blah. All these things go through their head. So they're not going to really care about selling it to you for half price because they really believe that they didn't invest any of their own money because they financed it and they've been told to use other people's money, OPM. But slaves don't understand. They have no choice but to use other people's money because they have no money. Do you know that, slaves? Do you guys know money doesn't exist for you at all? Gold, silver, you better believe, listen, you better believe cryptocurrency doesn't exist for you guys. They completely made that shit up, totally made it up, and you guys believe it. You can't invest in Bitcoin if you have student loans. That's impossible. You can't do that. That breaks all the laws of mathematics. You think you're special? Okay, hold up. You think you can just be born, come to Earth, and say, I'm breaking all the laws of mathematics. No, you can't. Nobody can. That's impossible. Nobody can break the laws of mathematics. Thank you. $5 super chat. Thank you. Aisa. I hope I'm saying that right. Please let me know if I'm saying that right. Aisa. Thanks, SMD. I'm trying to buy a nice small house with cash. Small house with cash. This is what I'm gonna tell you to do. Wait, there's a housing market crash coming, and it's gonna be a big one. Just wait. Just chill. Let all the slaves go into the frenzy of buying houses. Don't get sucked into it. Don't get sucked into the low interest rates. Don't get sucked into this is the time that it's hot. Houses are going for double the price. Don't worry about any of that. That's a facade. Okay. Don't worry about any of that. Just chill. There's going to be the biggest housing market crash that you've never seen before in your life. You know how much Do you know how much wealth is going to be exchanged just in real estate alone? Oh man. Mm, mm, mm. Isa. Okay. Isa. Okay, cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. Then it says, I'm about to sell my Bitcoin crumbs now that the stimulus is fully out. See what I'm saying? Just wait. They usually announce it on the news, so just wait till you hear it on the news. They say, "Hey, this is how they announce stuff without letting slaves know they're announcing stuff." Hey, the last of the checks went out Tuesday, and they should be receiving. Okay, that's all we need to know. Time to pull. You got from that point on, you probably got about a week, maybe two. Then it's time to pull because you got to remember, slaves are going to be running out of money, and if they've invested in Bitcoin, they're going to know that they can go there and pull that money out because they're going to need it. They don't know they're going to need it, but they're going to need it. But by the time they wake up and realize they're going to need that Bitcoin money, it's going to crash because the people that know are going to pull their money before that. Slaves like to ride it out because they think, oh man, I heard it's going to reach $200,000, man. If I pull now, man, I'm going to be missing out on 100,000. Yeah, that's what you think, slave. You want to, do you want your financial problems to stop? Your your whole life is going to change. Your relationships, everything's going to change. Your friends, the people you know, especially financially. I always keep, man, it, you won't associate with slaves anymore. Your whole circle's going to change. Here, this is how to know the circle you're in. Okay, this I promise you this. Okay, I stated this earlier. 5 - 10 is -5. This is all you got to do. Ask everybody you know what's 5 - 10. If they come back with 5, you know your circle of friends. Ask all your friends, do you guys have student loans? If you have student loans and they all do, that's your circle. That's why you guys are a circle of friends. If you and your circle of friends complain about some debts all the time, or you hope the president get rid of student loans, if that's your topic, that's why you guys are all friends. Because once you get out of debt, you won't care what they do with student loan debt because it won't be your problem. It will not have anything to do with you. You know who I pay attention to? I pay attention to force changers. I know there's a different name for it. People that force change. You see what Elon Musk did? This is the only thing Elon Musk did. He came in, found an area. Then that they were already making electric cars before, but they were ugly and slow. They were ugly and slow. Who cares if they didn't use gas? If they were ugly and slow, people don't want that. They're like, okay, I gotta have something that at least looks good. Elon Musk came along and made a cool, fast electric car. That's all he did. That don't use gas. Now, the other manufacturers have to follow. They have to. They have no choice. They have to follow. Same thing with Amazon. Amazon changed the game. They have to. Now look at Ford. Now look at Ford came out with their own electric car called the Mach E. They had to. You have to. That's why some of these states are already starting to practice. Oh man, we're thinking about charging people by the mile. You know what they're preparing for? They're preparing for people to no longer use gas to run cars. They have to figure out how to make that money, so they're gonna charge you by the mile. Can you imagine? I mean, you better believe once I get my house, I'm getting a Tesla cash. And here's why. I get to cut another thing out of my life that I can't control. Like when you drive down the street in your city, you can look at different gas stations, and damn near all the gas stations have different prices for the same fucking gas. Does that make sense to you? That makes absolutely no sense to me. How can this gas station over across the street can charge this much for unleaded, but this one over here charges a different price? Why is that? How come it's not the same? Is that different special unleaded gas? No, because they can, because you have to. But when you get an electric car, you have to deal with none of that. See ya. That's one more thing out of my life that's uncontrolled by me. Can you imagine? No car payments and no gasoline? Oh man. I would say around June, September 22 is going to be when the housing market crash will happen. A foreclosure eviction takes a little less than a year to go through unless all paperwork is ready to go. Um this is how I'm looking at that. I try not to go too far ahead. Right now, I'm just paying attention to the moratoriums. That's the only thing I'm paying attention to. So now it got pushed to June 30th. Now, I understand that nothing's going to change between now and June 30th. Okay, that's who cares if they extend it to June 30th? So what? That's just to keep the slaves calm. Okay, it doesn't moving into June 30th does nothing. Because you could just walk up to a slave and say, "Hey, man, you feel great about this being pushed to June 30th? Oh yeah, man, that feels great. Okay, what are you gonna do when June 30th come? What you gonna do different than what you're gonna do right now, this moment? Nothing. So I'm waiting to what happens to me. I just know they're gonna June 30th is gonna come, and then they're gonna push it further out. They can't have, listen, they cannot have that many slaves getting kicked out at once, because what you guys don't understand, slaves will be getting kicked out in all areas, rich areas, poor I know TV will make it look like only the poor people are getting kicked out. I want you to pay attention. People are going to be kicked. People would be getting kicked out in the so-called rich areas, the people that you thought had money. So you would see so much furniture on the curbs. Even in the nice areas, slaves would wake up. They'd be like, "Wait a minute, it's not just isolated to the poor areas. No, it's everybody." Slaves don't have a look. You can't look at a person and say, "Oh, that person's a slave." You can't tell. Slaves wear Gucci. Slaves drive nice cars. They drive Hummers. They drive Bentleys. They drive those. Slaves drive McLarens, Ferraris. They drive those kind of cars too. Slave, it doesn't matter. You think if you saw somebody driving a McLaren, you would think they have money. But if you walked up to them and say, "Hey man, are you making car payments?" If they say yes, who cares what they're driving? So what? That's the bank's car. And the bank don't care if it's a McLaren or not. All the bank sees is a depreciating object that they're making interest on. That's like that's a win-win. Imagine making money on a depreciating object. What kind of there's no better money than that. Something going down in value, but you're making money. That's crazy, man. And slaves think as soon as you drive a car off the lot, it goes down in value. No, it doesn't. It goes down in value just sitting on the lot. Why do you think they're trying to sell it to you as fast as possible? Because it goes down in value just sitting there. Not even you don't even have to drive it. And can you imagine the money that they make off of slaves that say like right now, this is 2021, okay? You walk on the line and say, "Hey, we just got our 2022s in," and it's freaking August of 21. And a slave will walk on the car lot, finance a 2022 in August of 21. Start putting miles on the car. Start putting miles on the vehicle in 2021. And then when 2022 comes, they're over on the mileage, on the value of the car. They don't even know it. You're not even coming close to getting back the money for that car. Here comes 2022, and let's say you got 30,000 miles on your 2022. You're 30,000 miles under already? Yeah, hey man, don't count those 30,000. Don't count those 30,000 miles, man. I put those on in 2021. You think somebody's gonna care when you put the miles on there? Nope. According to Kelley Blue Book, if you got 30,000 miles on your car in January of 2022, you are under. What's up, Andre? What's up, Omanique? Everybody, ignore the ignore the title. I thought it was Sunday for some unknown reason. I really did. Woke up, thought it was Sunday. We're still gonna have tomorrow too. All right, but we are 1 hour in. And since we have no questions, we're going to go ahead and end this because I want to get more people to participate, especially newcomers. I know some people are shy about it or whatever, right? But what's up, Greek Surgeon? So let me put this in a couple banners in here, and we're going to end this now. Let's see, please subscribe. Don't forget to hit that like button. Crash starts in July, continues to July. Oh, I know why you're saying July. Well, Andre, what if I'm thinking you're saying July because of June 30th, and I'm thinking they're going to extend the moratorium another few months. They have to, because nothing is going to happen. And this is what I believe. Okay. I believe the moratoriums get extended because the infrastructure is not in place to house all the people that are going to be getting kicked out. Like, they need apartment buildings, they need a ton of storage places, they need a lot of stuff in place to house you guys when you guys get kicked out of your current places. That includes landlords that took out a second mortgage to get a rental. And all you guys are included. Okay, you guys are going to be all kicked out, but you guys need a place to go. You guys need a place to put your stuff. That infrastructure must be in place, because if you guys don't have any place to go, you guys will see each other. And most of you guys will wake up, be like, hey, all these people got kicked out? Yeah, all of you. Doesn't matter. Oh, I thought so-and-so's a doctor, right? Yeah, they're a doctor. They got kicked out. Yeah, because it doesn't matter if they're a doctor. That doesn't matter. Don't they make like $200,000-$300,000 a year? Say, yeah. So what they got to do with anything? They ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Oh, sorry about that. Let me put that up there. I always forget that. The extension of the moratorium is irrelevant. They are going according to plan. That is true. That is irrelevant. Okay, so I'm saying two different things. Okay, I am saying two different things. The extension of the moratorium is for slaves, to make them believe that that they're getting some extra time of something. And you know, so crazy with landlords, I know they don't realize this. When you get out of the debt, man, I said this once before, when you get out of the debt matrix, there's a clear hierarchy. You will see this and you will know this. Okay. And I'll give you an example of this. There's an entity. Now, if you're a landlord, right, there's an entity out here that can tell you that you cannot kick people out of your property, even though they're not paying you rent. They said, no, you can't do that. Now, regardless of your feelings about it, why, whatever, I'm just trying to show you something, that there's an entity that can tell you can't do that. Now just sit on that. Just think about that and understand that. It doesn't matter who, it doesn't matter which part of the government says it in the legislation. Just understand that whatever that is, it's there and they can tell you can't. They will up the cost of electric car tags to pay for the road. Something else just created another source of income to find. Well, you got to understand that that's a given. Okay, that of course that's going to happen. Okay, they need money, but what slaves don't really understand is that just because you see that in the it's not the car prices, tags, taxes, they're not the same for people that are not in debt. When you're a slave, we pay them, but not the same way you pay them. Like here, okay, let me give you an example so you guys can really understand. If there, and I'm gonna keep it simple. If there was a car, two people walked up and was gonna buy a car, and the car was $10,000. The cost of the car for the person paying cash would be 10,000 plus tax and fees or whatever that is, okay? And then and say like it came up to 15,000, okay? I'm just keeping round simple numbers, 15,000. They walk away paying 15,000 and they're done. Somebody that doesn't have the money will finance the $10,000, okay? And they finance the taxes because it's $10,000 plus taxes and fees. So they're financing the taxes and fees, and then they spread it across for 5 years, 6 years, however, right? If all they have to do is flip to the back of the contract and see the cost of the car is very different. At the end of the contract, they probably end up paying like $25,000 for the car. At the end of the contract, when the person that paid cash paid 15, so the price of the car is different for the person who financed it. The price of the car, the sale of the car is going to go down in value from that point on. This is on top of you financing. It's going to go down in value at that time, while it goes up for the bank. For oh man, it just goes on and on. Did you hear Biden is going to further into $50,000 student? Allegedly, he doesn't have the authority to cancel. So, what do you think? Nothing's going to happen. Let me tell you this, most definitely $50,000 is not coming off. Hell no, that's not happening. Okay. Also, even if they say, like Biden said, we're going to take off 10,000, they're going to make you jump through so many hoops to get that $10,000. I promise you. Hey, it can't be federal. You gotta be jumping on one leg, and you got another jump rope and drink water at the same time. And then when we forgive the 10,000, we didn't say we're going to forgive the taxes on 10,000. If you get it, it's just, man, it's just dumb. NYC 499 super chat. Thanks, Uncle LJ. Appreciate you, NYC. I'm getting the calls already. Commercial properties coming to market is blowing up in the background. They will never tell them the truth. Yes. Okay, I agree. That's basically what I've been saying. Oh yeah, it's blowing up in the background. And if this is you in the back, if you think nobody can see that you're about to lose everything, I promise you we can. We can see it. It's obvious. Now, instead of getting upset about that, you got to say to yourself, how come it's so obvious? I can show you why it's obvious, and you'll never do it again. I promise you. Whatever you did right now that make you lose everything, I promise you, you'll never do it again. And if this is you and you're about to lose everything, there's two ways to look at that. You could start over free. You could start over, free slate, and never make this mistake again. And I can show you how. You will be able to see what we're talking about, what Andre's talking about, what I'm talking about. You can see it. It's obvious. This right here, that's going on in the background. You guys, if you guys put it this way, If you were losing your business and on top of that you was getting kicked out of the place you live, something would snap in. You'd be like, wait a minute. And you'll look around and say, millions of people are doing the same thing I'm doing. Yep, millions. You guys would wake up. That cannot happen. Student loan forgiveness will cost you more in taxes anyway. Pray they don't do forgiveness. Oh yeah. Even though and I don't want you guys even thinking that's hope. That they're never going to do that. They're never going to forgive student loans. They're not. Put it this way, slaves, okay? This is and you got to ask yourself this question honestly, okay? They know, say like you had $100,000 in student loan debt, and if you have that much in student loan debt, you have other debts. Though student loan debt is the worst. If they gave you $100,000, say, hey, we're going to give you $100,000 in cash to pay off your student loans and handed it to you. They know you wouldn't pay the student loan debt off. Do you understand that, slave? They know that. Now, if you just heard me say that, and you know deep down inside, if they gave you 100 grand that you wouldn't pay off your student loan debt, you need to ask yourself, why would I not do that? Knowing the only way I can pay the student loan debt off is with my own money. That's the only way you're going to get out of student loan debt. You got to work and you got to take your checks and then you got to hand it to the student loan place. That's the only way you're going to be able to get out of debt. There is no forgiveness. And if that was the case, somebody gave you 100 grand and you didn't pay them up, you got to ask yourself, why wouldn't I do that? That's part of the program. Thank you, sir. Andre, it's not even work. You know that. You know it's not even work. It's just there. You just see it. It's like, damn. Damn, they do you slaves dirty. God damn. I was talking about this earlier. They're making you slaves by the millions. Do you understand what I'm saying, you guys? They are creating slave by the mass millions. I mean, they're making enough slaves to last what? 100 years. I invest in the student loans. I'm not worried. Student loans are going nowhere. Retirement for the rich. That's the 401k for the rich. Student loan debt. If they forgive the loans, it will make me a ton of money in tax payments. Exactly. But don't worry about that. Don't even worry about what he's saying because that will never happen. Ever. Exactly. Debt free. Anything I can cut out of my life that's beyond my control as much as I can. That's what I do. That's my only goal, to do that. That's why one of my goals is to own my house and a Tesla or whatever electric car. But right now, Tesla's on top of the game. Cut gas out of my life. I don't have to use gasoline anymore. Oh man, less moving parts. Install a supercharger in my house. That's it. Game done. Game over. No more gasoline. If it will never happen, why is it a talk? Why are Democrats pushing it? I don't follow politics. So I wouldn't know. I don't know the difference between Democrats and Republicans, nor do I care. I don't care. When they say right wing, left wing, the only thing I worry about, who owns the bird. So when they say that right wing, left wing, I don't care hey man, who is controlling the bird? That's all I care about. They tell you everything is in your face. They say wings. But if you don't make the correlation, that's your problem. Wings on what? What are wings on? Birds. Everybody knows that. Have you ever seen a bird fly through the air without a body and just flapping wings? That's impossible, right? And if you do, you probably high. Yeah, correct. It starts with control. Yes, sure does. Follow the money. I'm gonna make this real simple for you guys, okay? Especially unconscious slaves. If you don't know you don't own yourself, who cares what they're doing in politics? You'll never understand what they're doing. You can't. If if you don't know how much debt you're in, don't worry about what politicians are doing. You can't understand the structure of government, Democrat, Republican, the Senate. You can't understand none of that. You don't own yourself. What they're really, and this is again, this is my opinion. You know who they're there for? People that understand, that know. When you get out of debt and you look at all that, you can clearly see what everything is for. You can clearly see why it's there. All these layers and convoluted structures, you don't own yourself. You'll never understand the structure. You'll never get it ever. You can't. If you have student loans, don't worry about what the government's doing if you got student loan payments. Okay, don't worry about that. That has nothing to do with you. We've been hearing about student loan forgiveness the last 2 decades. They can talk about it in fancy courtrooms as much as they want to, as much as they want. It goes no further than talk. Forgiveness equal not happening. It's never going to happen. You know why? This is what they really do. Okay, and not really do, but this is just my opinion. When they throw student loan forgiveness out there, they want to see how many people respond begging for it. They want to see how many of you guys beg. And if millions of you guys beg for it, guess what? They know their control. Oh, please, please. You're begging for something. You're begging for forgiveness of something that you don't even have to be forgiven from. The only person that can forgive you from it is you. You got to look in the mirror and say, you got to beg. That's who you got to beg for forgiveness from. You, not from some outside entity from you. Doesn't even make any sense. Bang a lawnmower cash a day, side hustling to speed up, kill these student loans. That's how you do it. And make sure when you go look for that lawnmower, you look around, you call up and ask them, why are you selling it? See if they give you a slave story. Oh man, I lost my job, child support, blah, blah, blah. You don't give a shit what they say. That tells you that you can get that lawnmower for half the price. My uncle voted for Biden simply for that reason. Exactly. That's why he did it. Do you guys understand that only only slaves that are in student loan debt beg for forgiveness? When you don't have student loan debt, you don't even listen to that talk. You don't have to beg for forgiveness for anything because it has nothing to do with us. Nothing. And you're begging? Mm. Please forgive me. I'll give you 10 years of my life. Make up some special program. If you walk in and sign up for a 10-year program to pay off student loans, you are the ultimate slave. You don't believe you can pay off student loans out of 10 years of working in your life? 10 years. You don't believe in yourself enough that you will pay off student loan. You can't pay off student loans out of 10 years of your life. Oh man, they do you. Oh, they do you slaves so dirty. Ooh. You walk in, sign here. Oh yeah, before you sign, yeah, we don't promise you anything. You still want to do it? Yep, you guys sign right up. Gonna watch your 550 a month car payment stream after this so I can see how dirty they do them. Oh yeah, please watch it. Student loan debt is more than credit card debt. Oh yeah. And since the pandemic, even more people apply for student loans. Listen, I want you guys to understand something, okay? Student loan debt are the cockroaches of the economy. It doesn't matter what the economy's doing. Student loans can even survive a killer virus. It doesn't matter what's going. Student loans have no idea what's going on in the economy. Don't even know that there's a virus out here. Doesn't know that millions of people are out of jobs. The student loan debt doesn't know any of that. It's immune to all of it. Doesn't matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter if you're sick. Doesn't matter if you had some death in the family. They are there. What's up, Randy woman?
Good morning, LJ.
Good morning.
Wow. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
I just had to come on really quickly because something just kind of stood out to me in listening to everything today. And that is, it's a conditioning. The reason we even begin to think about having a house, a mortgage for 30 years is because the conditioning begins already. Like the conditioning begins when you hear the commercials, the conditioning begins every time you hear people talk about their houses and buying a house and talk about their own loan. It builds a repetition in your subconscious to where that's the only way you register, quote unquote, buying a home.
Exactly. It's been programmed in us since by family, TV, people around us, coworkers. The only way to buy a house is with a mortgage. Nobody ever stops to say, "Wait a minute, 30 years to pay off one house? That doesn't even make any sense." That's programming.
Make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And so we accept it because of the conditioning. And
Yeah.
it takes a breaking of the conditioning. It takes a deprogramming to even begin to register anything outside of that.
Exactly. You have to figure out that you're a slave. That's the hardest part. Unconscious slaves don't know that they're slaves. So how do you tell a slave that they're a slave when they don't know they're a slave? Good luck with that.
Wow, right. And the same thing with the car, and it's like people can actually have the money to buy a home and still won't do it because of the conditioning of the loan. That's madness.
Well,
And
because they don't know the only way to buy a home is in cash. They don't really understand that there is no other option. There is no other option of buying a home. The only way to buy a home is in cash. Anything outside of that is called financing. But slaves mix up the word buy with they think if they get a 30-year mortgage, they just bought a home. They don't even know that they're using the wrong words when they talk about it.
right, right. All right. Well, that's all I got for right now. Thanks, LJ.
You're welcome, Randy woman. Thank you for jumping on. I appreciate it. We will forgive you. You know what? You keep saying that. Where are you hearing something like that at, Andre? Hmm. Because I haven't. You're saying that for a reason. I haven't read anything anywhere where they're talking about tying something in there like that. I mean, you clearly see that it's a catch. Okay, buy a house, we'll forgive your student loan. That doesn't even make any sense. Okay, that's clearly a catch to get slaves into something. Oh God, somebody did that? Holy crap! I did. Okay, you guys got to hit me to where this is being said. I got to read about that. I haven't even heard about that. There are programs like that here in the DMV. What the? Forgive your student loans if you buy a house? Somebody, oh my God. Somebody, please email me. You guys find something on that, please email me that. I have not, Andre had said that a couple of times, but I didn't register it together. Honestly, when I first heard Andre say that, I thought he was joking. I thought he was cracking a joke. But then here's SOBC says his in-laws did that. What? I'll tell you, these scammers, man, I tell you, they are on a mission. Hey, your bank. That's funny. Anyway, you guys want out of this nonsense, man? You guys need to come see me. You really do. You need to come see me. Because I'm telling you, I know I keep saying they're doing you so dirty. Really, when I say they're doing you so dirty, I mean they're taking what that really means is that they're taking advantage of the fact that you don't trust mathematics. You don't trust the laws of mathematics when it comes to your money. So they're taking advantage of you because of that. That's what I mean by they do you so dirty. But if you don't trust mathematics, that's your own fault that you don't trust mathematics. Okay, it's your fault. If you believe that you got a car on sale after financing for 84 months, that's your fault. If you financed a house with an FHA mortgage for 30 years with PMI and all this other stuff, that's your fault. And think you're a homeowner, that is your fault. PMI, private mortgage insurance, is for slaves. They should rename it to PFI, prepaid foreclosure insurance. That's what they should have did. PMI is for slaves, private mortgage insurance. That's for slaves that don't know. That's a fee for you guys. That's a I don't know tax. Hey, I don't know what I'm doing, so I got to pay this tax. Everybody got PMI? Yeah, all slaves got PMI. Then they say, okay. Hey, yeah, this is what they say. Oh, yeah, I know it's PMI, just because you didn't put that much money down. But, when you get into it, you can get out of it, refinance it, then you won't have to pay PMI. They all say that to you, slaves. They know you can't. Because if you go in paying PMI, you're not going to be able to refinance the house to get out of PMI, okay? It's a trick bag. They will bundle the student loan inside the mortgage and you not be able to discharge it. Oh God. Oh God, no, they not. Oh, hold up. Okay, Andre, is that true? They're going to tie student loans in with your mortgage, and then since the mortgage is tied in with the student loans, it will be a non-dischargeable? Oh God. Check out the Maryland Smart Buy program. Oh my God. Hold up? When did they start that? When did that start? Oh my God. Oh my God. That is a flawless victory. God damn. So if you tie that shit in with your mortgage, and you default on your, oh my God, and you get kicked out, the banks own you forever. Oh, 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 oh my God. That's like 200 years of. Are they trying to? Okay, hold up. Are they trying to push this brand new economy to go for 200 years? No, that's different. That's different. No, that's different. Everything evolves. No, that's different. Oh my God. Oh my God, you don't even understand. Okay, slaves, if you're listening to this, don't ever do that. Don't ever tie your student loan debt in with your mortgage. Don't ever do that. Oh my God, that is horrible. Where is that? I think it goes. Look, this goes back to 2015. Okay, okay, Andre, how far does this go back? This tying in student loan debt with mortgage. How far is that? When did they start that? What's up, NC Biggs? What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on? So I had a question. Maybe Andre or somebody in the group can ask this question. Uh, since that person, the student loan housing thing, since that person put their loan in there, and let's say the house is transferred to a new person, would that person also be liable for those student loans
What do you mean? If they
and
sold the
now
house? What do you
be
mean?
no. Like you know how sometimes you like if somebody dies and they transfer over to loan to the next person in the family, would that student loan be then transferred to the next person in the family as well?
Well, first they would have to be approved to be able to transfer from the loan anyway. So that's just like that's not like an automatic. People think that's an automatic. That's not.
No, it's not. But you know what I'm saying. Like
But I do know what you're saying. I don't know that answer. I know what
it
you're
would
saying. I don't
be
know that answer.
it would be a double in debt. It would be a family, and you could technically do families of debt at that point if
Well,
that's the way
you
it
could
works.
definitely, they would definitely approve. I say not definitely. I would say they would approve them because that would lock the money in. You know what I'm
Right. It would
saying? If
like
you,
but I
yeah,
mean, because the money what's weird about it is because the student loans are insured, but if they're letting the student loans go instead of if they're letting the student loans merge with housing, that would mean that if the next person in the family took over that debt or whatever, they would be indebted as well for the same thing, and then therefore they're locked in for the same thing. It
well,
would be a
you got to remember
constant
the
lock.
bank knows that they will tie in feelings, right? Somebody in
Yeah,
the family will tie in feelings, say, "Hey, this house has been in our family for over 20, 40, 50 years and they're still making payments on it, right?" They will keep it and transfer that debt to themselves, which would make that forever money for the banks and the government. That's guaranteed money.
yeah.
Guaranteed.
So
That
so
cannot be
so
bankrupt.
my thought is you're not just enslaving yourself, but you're now enslaving your entire generational family to this house until the house is either paid
Well,
off.
that's already, I mean, that's already happened. This is just like guaranteeing. I mean, so much
Constant
harder to
slavery.
get out.
It's
Yeah,
a constant slavery. It's like
correct.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's already happening, but at this current moment, it's by choice or uneducation or non-education.
Programming,
That's that
programming,
programming and stuff.
programming.
But the way they're talking, it's not even going to be programming. It's just going to be thrown at you right off in the beginning. Like that would be enormously damaging
Well,
because
you
if
got to
you think about
remember,
some
deep down inside, slaves don't really believe that they'll pay off a house or their student loans. They don't believe that. That's why they're combining the two. Because they already know slaves don't believe that they could ever buy a house in cash. They think that is beyond. They believe that's impossible. So they believe the only way they can get a house is financing a house. And if they can tie student loans within a house, now not only the government is guaranteed money, the bank is guaranteed money. Because if you walk away from the house, they can still come after you. It's still coming out of your check.
right. It's guaranteed. Like, but now you're even in more debt
Correct.
because the
Because
house is now the house is going to be probably more than what the student loans were.
yeah, because you got to
So
remember, because now, right now, if a slave walked away from a house, right now, just said, "Fuck it, I'm not paying anymore. It's too much," and leave, and then the bank comes after him for the rest, they can just go file bankruptcy and be done.
right. and they have a clean slate, but they will have no
Correct.
clean slate if that house is. I mean, when
If
we're
that
talking,
loan is wrapped up in student loans, that you better believe that's what they're going to do. They're going to tie it up in such to where it can't be untied. And once it's tied up, now it's on their credit report. Now they own them.
my question would be, is it going to be how are they only allowing that for houses that are that would like technically be able to sustain it? Because there's people out here with $1 million worth of student loans. That I've shown you that myself. So I know that there's people with millions of dollars of student loans alone. Then I would assume that those people would have to have a house that was worth equally to that.
See, you're going way too deep about it, right? You're going way too deep than you need to go about it, right? This is all you. If you even consider signing up for something like that, you're obviously a slave.
Right, of course. I'm
So
just saying.
So the amount of student loan debt is not really relevant. All they got to do is just bury you in enough. If you had $1 million worth of student loan debt, right? But you say, hey man, I want to tie my student loans in with my mortgage. They don't really care about how much you have. They just would know if they tie it together, you're never getting out ever.
Yes, that's death right there.
That's death. Somebody commented today. He said mortgage instead of mortgage. It said MORTCAGE. Mortgage.
Oh man, that's insane. I hadn't heard about this, but when I saw
Me
Andre
neither.
confirming it, it's pretty bad. Like that's horrible right there.
But again, you gotta remember, it's bad for slaves, not for us.
Oh yeah, it's just horrible.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful out here right now. It's beautiful. It's lovely out here.
What that would mean is that if the person is locked in a house, I mean, they're just obligated to pay that house, even when they'll be paying that house either until they die or until they can no longer sustain the house, and then they'll lose it. And then
the houses, you gotta remember, they don't lose anything because they don't own anything.
Right. Well,
right?
I'm talking about lose the right to live there.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. You gotta make sure you say it right. Lose the right to live there, exactly. And when they get kicked out, check this out. This is just crazy. They say like they get kicked out and it's tied together. So they leave owing the bank all that money, and guess what the bank is gonna do? Sell it again. They're gonna sell the house again and redo another person the same way.
That's
unbelievable money. Unbelievable.
I can't believe they're gonna do the student loans with the.
Now they don't have to worry about financing. They don't have to worry about that person financing another house. They'll never approve them anyway. And plus, they own them, so they don't have to worry about them anymore. They own them for the rest of their life.
Do you know what that solves the issue for slaves as far as the student loan crisis, as far as
yeah. And taking up all the houses. They won't never be approved when they just be renting them.
Right, because you're basically solving the problem, because everybody's complaining. Oh well, I can't do this because I got student loans and blah 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 blah. Or if they put it in the mortgage, they put that student loan within the mortgage. They're gonna be like, oh, okay, well now I can get a house, so I'm good. I'm good.
Right.
So now it's student loans are now covered up. Student loan debt will be lowered on the charts. But
I see what you're saying. No, wait, no, they said they're going to tie it together. They're not removing it. They're tying.
It's not removing. It's not removing. But as far as they're concerned, people's student loan mortgages would not be their student loans would become also their mortgage. So it's not quite the same. So they can say that student loan debt has dropped because people are now merging their student loans over with their houses. So they're gonna play on those words, like sole student loans is not the same thing as student loans tied with mortgage. They might
what's going on, NC Biggs? What's going on, LJ?
What's going on?
What's up, man?
So yeah, like LJ, I was telling you, my in-laws did this in Maryland, right? They live in Maryland. So the way it works there is I think Maryland has a cap of up to $40,000 in student loans, right? So you get your original mortgage for the house, and then they give you a second mortgage to pay off a second mortgage with zero interest, zero interest to pay off those whatever student loans you have. So so in reality, you end up having two mortgages.
Oh, I
So you
see
see
what
what
you're
I'm
saying.
saying?
So it's like they basically pull a mortgage out on the house to pay off the student loans.
Exactly. Right.
So they don't have the student loan. So they're eliminating the student loans by using the house to pay off the student loans. I get you.
A second mortgage on the house to pay off the student loans. So all in all, you end up having two mortgages. You see what I'm saying? But
Gotcha.
I'll send you details on that, LJ, so you can read about it.
I gotta see, and this was so crazy, right? They say a limit of $40,000, a cap limit, right? They understand that that's all they need, because people, if they're not going to pay back $40,000, they're not. So it doesn't really matter how much. It's like, oh, just 40,000. So they're going to take a piece of it. This is what it sounds like to me. The bank is going to take a piece of the student loans, merge them with the mortgages, because they don't need a lot of money to merge it. As long as it's merges, now the government owns it, because if they say just 40,000, that means they still have a balance. So the government still owns them, and the bank is going to own
No,
them.
LJ, no. See that doesn't defeat the problem that people are complaining about, though, LJ. Like what people are complaining about right now, and the average person is complaining about, is student loans. So if you eliminate people's student loans by merging them into the house, then it brings down the total of student loan debt. So therefore,
Right.
people have less student loans out there. And then you also have, and see, now when he explained it, it makes more sense. So if he eliminates the student loans, they don't have the student loan debt, but they
Right.
have now the mortgage, and they have two mortgages. They're probably not going to pay on that house. They're going to lose the house, but now they don't have student loan debt. So they're like, oh, well, at least I'm free from the student loans. And they get to say, oh, the average of the $1 trillion debt of student loans had dropped drastically because people have been
Exactly.
people have been paying off their student loans. They're going to say that people have
Exactly.
been paying them off.
The illusion.
Right. Right. The
Right.
illusion of people paying off their student loans. So it makes the student loan crisis seem less of a burden to
Right.
those, and more people are willing to go out and get student loans, because if they're, you're willing to go out there
And
and
more
get them.
people are willing to go out and finance a house.
Right. So people are willing to finance a house or a piece of property, so that they can merge that with.
In this economy too, they just put all this bait on the hook, lower the interest rates, pay off the student loan debt, just wrap them all in there. God damn.
Yeah, see, this is a smarter move when it comes. If see, the other way sounded like destruction. Like that just sounded like KO. I don't see them doing. They didn't want to do that. That wouldn't solve the problem that people are complaining about.
Right.
So people are complaining about student loans, so they're gonna fix it that way. But
And
anyway,
the thing
I'm gonna get off the phone, but I'm gonna listen some more. I'll be back later, maybe.
Okay.
All right.
And you know what the funny thing is, LJ? They have all these fancy, smashy names for these programs, like the one I'm talking about. They call it the Maryland Smart Buy Program.
Now you see the fancy names? First time home buyer programs.
Right.
They do all that. That's horrible. That's horrible, man.
And the slaves fall for it. They fall for it.
It's made to look like help. Oh, we're gonna give a moratorium. We're gonna hold back. We're gonna pause the student. They just all the stuff that looks like help, but it's not.
Mm-hmm. This is why I give the government credit. They know how to come up with these smart programs and these fancy initiatives that trap all their slaves.
But it's not. Check it out. It's not even smart, or it's not even a trick. It's not anything, right? They just say, hey, somebody, make up a name. Call it Smart Investor Pro mortgage. And then slaves just believe it, because if you just did the math, you would clearly see it makes absolutely no sense. None, zero.
Right.
They just do them so dirty. Ooh, they do them so dirty.
And they add these little incentives within this programs. Oh, $5,000 down payment help. You can finance you can finance that to
Yeah,
95%. It's
yeah. 5,000, and they don't really understand. If you need $5,000 help, that means you don't have no money to buy the house. They're about to financially abuse you. They don't. It's no different than a car. Hey, you get a $5,000 manufacturer rebate. Rebate from who? From where? Who's giving it to me? I told this person. I said, somebody asked me, say, man, if I get this new truck, man, I get a $7,500 rebate. I said, I tell you what, walk on the lot, and I want you to say this. Hey, man, I don't want the car, but I do want the $7,500 rebate. See what they say to you. I do want the cash.
Oh man, that's so funny. But yeah, it's I think that program is still alive right now in Maryland. So
Oh man, I gotta look that up, man. I gotta look that up. I gotta look up the details on that bad boy.
yeah.
Did you put it in there, right?
I'll email you that link.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Maryland Smart Buy. Oh, look at that name. The Maryland Smart Buy program.
And they had a 2.0 version. Now they have a 3.0 version.
Oh shit. They just keep revising it.
Exactly. Right.
Where can we make more money? Let's say, let's see. Let's lower the amount they have to put down. Let's raise the amount of student loan debt they can put. They just change it all they want. Wow. You there, SOBC? I don't know if you're on mute.
I'm here.
Yeah. Is that where you live, Maryland?
Yeah, I live right on the border of Maryland and DC.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep.
That had to been funny to hear for the first time with your debt-free years.
Right. Actually, I heard it back then when I was a slave, right? But even then, when I was a slave, it didn't make sense to me. This just sounds too good to be true. It just didn't make sense to me.
That's funny, because I remember being in debt, and I remember I used to come across things that just didn't make any sense to me. I remember saying to myself, damn, 30 years to pay off one house? That don't make sense. That's what I said but I said, everybody around me is doing it. I guess it's okay. And then I did it.
Right. Crazy, just like the NACA program.
The what?
I heard that.
NACA?
Right. The NACA program.
God,
right?
That's horrible.
And the first time I heard it, I almost cried. I literally fell on the floor laughing, because it was just so funny. It didn't make no sense.
It does. You know, so funny. It does make you laugh, because this is why it makes you laugh. It's so obvious that it's funny.
Exactly. Right. And you see people jumping for it, all excited. Oh man, you need to sign up for this program.
Oh man.
Oh, God.
And they don't know, if you're recommending that program to somebody else, you're telling everybody you're a slave. That you don't even know it. You don't even know you're telling everybody, because they don't know people like you and I are standing in crowds and we're friends of friends, right? They don't know that we're listening.
Exactly.
You're probably thinking, I know not to ever let you borrow any money.
I know, right? But anyway, thanks for having me on, LJ. I'll just roll back and listen in.
All right, you guys. We got okay. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
All right, take care.
All right, we're gonna go about 10 more minutes. We're already 1 hour 48 minutes in. We're gonna go ahead and go 10 more minutes. So if you have any questions, you better get them in now. If you need help getting out, if you want a consultation, right there, SavingsMinusDebt.com, scrolling along the bottom there. If you want to be part of the new economy, the correct side, the side of it that trusts mathematics, here's the spot. Here's the place. This is where you come. If you want to stop being financially abused by such programs like this that are coming out the woodwork, here is the place. Come see me. Shout out to Maxine for the Cash App donation. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Very much appreciated. Thank you very much. And those of you that do not know, that is Omanike. Appreciate you. You want this to stop? This is the only place on YouTube you're going to be able to find it. The answer. It's unlike any other channel on YouTube, I promise you. There is no other channel like this one. This is why I'd give you the mathematical truth. Nothing exists outside of mathematics. This is the place where you come to realize the only way you can buy a house is in cash. There is no other way to buy a house. There is no other way. The sooner you realize this, you will understand that anything outside of cash or buying a house is called financing. If you have to finance it, that means you had no cash of your own to buy it. You cannot finance a house and think you're the owner. That cannot happen. You understand? Like, let me give an example for those of you that believe you're homeowners, okay? And I wrote this today in the community area, okay? To quickly find out, if you've been calling yourself a homeowner, this is a quick way to find out that you're not. Open up the calculator app on your phone. Put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance and hit equal. Okay? That's going to be a large negative number. If it's a large negative number, which is going to be, okay, because having the equation tells me that it's going to be a negative number, right? That means the bank owns the house. You don't own anything. If a person pays cash for a house, now listen closely. If a person pays cash for a house, the equation that I just gave you doesn't exist. If you have a mortgage minus mortgage payment minus mortgage balance, that's an equation. And hit equal, you'll clearly find out you don't own the house. The people that pay cash for a house, that equation that I just used on you doesn't exist for them because they have no mortgage. Do you understand? So you two can't be homeowners. You are a loan owner. The person that pays cash is a homeowner. Now you got to ask yourself, if you have a mortgage, why have you been walking around calling yourself a homeowner? Because that's a program. You are what's called an unconscious slaves. Unconscious slaves don't trust math, and they don't trust math. Unconscious slaves don't see negative numbers. They can't see them for some unknown reason. Well, they can't see them because they don't trust math. That's the answer. And it's not unknown. You guys don't trust math. That's why you don't see negative numbers. So if you put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance and hit equal, and you see that large negative number that the calculator is telling you, and you still don't believe it, you are what's called an unconscious slave because you don't trust math. You see, that's how it works. This is I'm not saying anything fancy. I'm just telling you the laws of mathematics. That's it. I'm not doing anything special. I'm not even thinking. So if you have student loans and you're trying to buy a house, according to the laws of mathematics, you can't. That's impossible. If you're looking to finance a car, you're looking to buy a car and you have student loans, according to the laws of mathematics, you can't. That's impossible. You can't buy a car with student loans. You can't. So stop thinking that stop saying things like it's an option. If you don't have the cash to buy a house, you can't buy a house. If you don't have the cash to buy a car, you can't buy a car. That's what the laws of mathematics say. With this information that I'm telling you, I'm sharing with you guys, man, the tying up with student. Do you guys see how it's happening? You guys don't even see it. They're preparing for the crash that's coming. They're signing you slaves up for houses like hotcakes. Why do you think they're building so many housing complexes? They're trying to get you guys in them. But at the same time, I want you to pay attention to how many apartment complexes and storage facilities are going up. They're preparing for you guys. Do you want this to no longer be you? Do you want to own yourself? Because as long as you don't own yourself, you're a slave. That you got to understand that. This is how you go from being an unconscious slave to a conscious slave. All you got to do is trust math. That's it. Trust math and you'll be conscious. You got to go as soon as you trust math, you'll know you're a slave. That's what makes you conscious. Going from unconscious slave, because when you're an unconscious slave, you don't know you're a slave. Then when you trust math, you go from unconscious to conscious, then you realize you're a slave. That's what that knowing that you're a slave is what makes you conscious. Your whole life will change. The whole financial economy, the whole financial world will go quiet. All the information you see on TV about retirement accounts, college accounts, blah, 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 all that stuff goes quiet because you'll know 95% of people telling you about that stuff are slaves. Slaves don't, if you have student loan debt, you can't buy a house, you can't buy a car, you can't buy a cell phone. You can't invest in retirement. You can't. If you have student loans, that's impossible. You can't invest in retirement accounts. You can't contribute to your 401k. And if you can't contribute to your 401k, you're most definitely not saving money on taxes. You're not getting anything because you can't. You can't contribute to retirement if you have student loans. That's impossible. You can't. And you're probably thinking, well, I can log into my retirement account to see how much money I got in there. That money's not yours. If you had no money to contribute to the retirement account, why do you think the money is yours? Well, that doesn't make any sense. Foreclosures drive up rents, which drives up next rounds of mortgages over and over again. You always hear a slave say, hey, man, you might as well own the mortgage is the same as the rent. When I hear slaves say stupid shit like that, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Stop throwing away your money on rent. The mortgage is the same as the rent. So what you're doing, that doesn't make any sense. Only slaves tell you guys that. That's a lie. That's not the same. Not even close. If you have no money to buy the house, who cares if the mortgage is the same as the rent? Who's saying that? That doesn't make any sense. You don't even have the money you don't even have the money to buy the house. And you're going to compare some numbers. You're going to compare numbers that don't exist. And if we're going to wrap this up here, but this is important. If you're a couple, wife or husband, it doesn't matter, because once you get out of the debt matrix, it doesn't matter if you're a man or woman, especially women. If women get this information, that's game over, baby. Game over. But if you're in a relationship and one of you guys wake up, one of you go from unconscious slave to conscious slave, and your partner doesn't wake up from unconsciousness, that relationship is over. I don't care how long you've been together. I don't care how many kids you have together. I don't care. It's over. I want you to understand it, because a conscious slave cannot live with an unconscious slave. It cannot happen. That relationship is done. And if you're single, man or woman, if you're single and you wake up, your whole life is going to change. Gone are bad relationships, because once you become a conscious slave, you get all the way to zero, and you realize that you were a slave, and now you're free, and now you will never ever date a slave ever. You will know that time is the most valuable thing on earth. It's time. You would never waste the time in your life in a bad relationship, especially with a slave. You would never do that, ever. You will never do that. Because slaves chitter chatter, yip yap, they be saying all kind of shit that makes absolutely no sense. Can you imagine listening to that every day? Or you get with a slave, you ain't got no debt, right? And they're in tons of debt. You get in a relationship with them, they're like, hey, I'm gonna get this car. You got the money to pay for it. I thought we were together. You ain't got no bills, no debt. You can afford to help me with my car payment. That they say shit like that makes absolutely no sense. You would never ever legally tie yourself to a slave. You want, especially biologically. Because if you tie you have a kid with a slave, guess where you're going to end up? In court, standing with your lawyers and your finances being judged by a person in a black robe in front of you, man or woman, doesn't matter, as long as that person's in a black robe. And you know why they're there? For people that don't follow the rules, for slaves. Since you don't understand money, they're going to do it for you. They're going to dictate your finances for you before you even make the money. Listen to me closely. Before you even make the money, they've already decided where your money's going to go and how. And you haven't even made it. And guess what you got to use to make that money? The time in your life. You have to use the time in your life to make the money that's already been dictated to go elsewhere, minus taxes. If you're that dude that's in court, if you're that dude online complaining about how bad child support is, first I want you to take a step back and ask yourself, are you in debt? Because I promise you this, because I was that person, okay, deep in debt, complaining about child support and saying how the system is ripping me off and all that stupid nonsense bullshit. If I had been out of debt, child support wouldn't have been nothing to pay. Nothing. Child support wouldn't have been shit to pay. It's only that much because you're in debt. Yes, that's why I stopped investing, paying off mode. Stopped investing, paying off mode, all because of you, LJ. It makes sense. It just makes sense. It's just the laws of mathematics. It's nothing more. It's nothing special. What's up, Nick? We're already going to wrap this up. I've been on here for 2 hours. I got to change the title because I thought it was Sunday. But I'm gonna just rename it to Q&A Saturday. All right. So you guys have a wonderful Saturday. I got to do some house cleaning, man. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thanks, SOBC, for the $5 super chat. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thanks for getting up on the mic and sharing that story, man. That was and please don't forget to email me that link because I definitely want to read about that. And Andre, if you come across some stuff about that mortgage student loan tying, I would love to. Can you email me some links too? I would love to read about that. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Great information. Have a great Saturday as well. You are welcome. Thank you for listening. All right, Andre, and thank you as always. You always send me away thinking. I'm like, damn. Yeah, every time you put something up there, I'm like, I'm whispering it out. Okay, making a connection. Random money chat Saturday. Okay, I think I'll title that. Random money chat Saturday. I'll name it that since it was so unexpected. All right, you guys have a great Saturday. All right, bye.